What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, and I'm back. I've got my coffee. It is International Women's Day today, and I thought, you know what? I don't have a real plan for what I'm going to do, so let's find a female-fronted band at least, and we'll do one of those. So because I am who I am, and I tend to be more into the harder stuff, we're going with OTEP today. So, warning for those of you who do not like particularly heavy music. This is a heavy song. I like OTEP. I know this song. I like this song. It's pretty heavy. So just, be prepared for that. The song is Confrontation, and we'll get into it in just a moment. Before I do, a couple things. Like and subscribe. I always appreciate that. I'm not a professional. I'm not an expert. I do this for fun, but I don't have any training in music review. So just bear that in mind, and don't be a dick. Like I said, this song may not be for you. It's pretty heavy, and you may not agree with the message of the song. You may not agree with my, my views of it. But let's try to keep it professional. All right, let's try to keep it chill in the comments. With that out of the way, let's get right into it. This is Confrontation by OTEP.
Here's your introduction to destruction in the haste sustaining me. Always safe for all in danger, drowning in atrocities. Riot gear, the slaves are here, piling corpses high. It's the rich man's war, but it's the poor that fight. War, capitalist crimes, more enemies in their lives. No WMDs, who gives a fuck if they die? Just kill them all, watch them fall, skin the world with their lies. It's the rich man's war, but it's the poor that fight. Religion of resistance, challenging everything, radicals and dissidents of creativity. We are the children of the siege. You hide in this rich man's war where the poor just die. More deception and greed, more wars and disease, more lies from the high mind who seek to deceive. A weak nation of need, like silent thieves in the night. It's the rich man's war, but it's the poor that die. This is my battle cry. Divided lies of the time and waste. With a fist in the air and a finger in the crowd. Defy the tyrants, don't be silent. 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 Stand up, speak out. Strike back, stand up, speak out. Strike back, they don't know what they started. Confrontation, stand or speak out. Strike back, stand or speak out. Strike back, they don't know what they started. Confrontation. There's no way they can stop us now. There's no way they can stop us now. There's no way they can stop us, so let them try. We fight till we die.
I like that video. I actually have not seen the video before. I do know the song. You could probably tell I was kind of mouthing along to it, but I haven't seen the video. I like it. I have seen that location where that American Apparel used to be, because American Apparel, the brand kind of died. But yeah, I've been to that part of LA. I think she's out on Rodeo. Okay, so let's talk about the song a little bit. It's very clear, right? You know, some artists, they get you a subtlety, right? They use clever wordplay, they use imagery, they try to evoke a feeling without necessarily being explicit about it. They want to, lead you to your own conclusions. OTEP, not generally interested in that. And I'm fine with it. Like, I like artistic subtlety, right? I think it's positive. I think it's a good thing. But sometimes directness is also good. And let me just make it clear. Like, OTEP is a talented writer. There are other songs that are much more, subtle. I keep saying subtle, but it's a good word. There are other songs that are less direct, more poetic. So I don't want to diminish OTEP's abilities in any way. I'm just saying this song is not subtle. It's very direct, and it is. It's very true. It's very accurate and applicable today. Like, there's a lot of places I could draw from, but I'm going to try and stick with two. My partner is a school teacher, and one of the things that is most frustrating to her is the way they let Army recruiters into high schools to recruit high school students. And here's how it works in the U.S. If you sign up, you generally get a sign-on bonus. It's frequently somewhere around $50,000. They offer to pay for your school, and they give you, they guarantee you a job. Well, if you're a poor student, $50,000 is more money than you ever expect to see at one time. Like, that's just it, right? You are never going to see that kind of money at once. And you're 17, and you're dumb. And, like, no offense, there are a lot of really smart high schoolers, but your ability to make long-term decisions is not fully developed. And you think, well, we're not at war right now, so I'm probably not going to have to go anywhere. And I can get a new car. And then I'll have a job for 6 years. And that works on people. It is rarely the rich children, the parents with upper class, the children with upper class parents, is what I meant, who end up falling into this lifestyle. It tends to be people who are like, either I can get myself a nice Challenger. That tends to be the car. A lot of newly minted recruits buy Dodge Chargers or Dodge Challengers. Mustangs are also popular, but for some reason the Dodge Charger or Challenger seems to be extremely popular. So either you're thinking, all right, I'm just going to make some money. I'm going to, I don't know, hang out with my boys, I guess. But then you also have people who are, like, I can use this to get an education, and I can make some money for my family. And I don't want to shit talk them, because that is a reasonable thought, right? Especially if you come from a particularly poor family, you're thinking, I can get an education, and I can provide my family with some income, and that's very understandable. Which is also why they are the targets for the recruiters, because they're vulnerable. I am not a person who is pro-military or pro-war, so I have issues with it for many reasons. But as she repeated multiple times, it's a rich man's war, but it's the poor that fight and or die. Another really good example of this, and this is happening, it's a current example, is what's going on in the war in Ukraine. A lot of times The most money a Russian family can make is if they have a son killed in action, because of the payout you get from the government for that. Life is... Let me be clear. Life is cheap in America. People like to talk about, well, you know, in America we value life, not like these other countries where life is disposable and cheap. Life is cheap as hell in America. And there's a lot of ways to prove that. But it is not unjust to say life is pretty cheap in Russia as well. And people in Russia tend to have less access to good paying jobs, good education, because like a lot of Russia is just the sticks, right? Like there's a good chunk of Russia that's pretty much dirt roads. And so what jobs are there out there? What sources of income are there out there? How are you going to make a living? So you sign up to fight in the war. Maybe you can steal something while you're out there. Maybe your income as a soldier is worth more than you could make working in your village or even in Moscow or I don't know a lot of other Russian cities. I always get, you got St. Petersburg, you got Stalingrad, Leningrad, which I know are old names. I can never remember which one is which. Anyway, whether you're living in the city or you're living in the sticks, if you're an 18-year-old boy, 19-year-old boy, 40-year-old man, 16-year-old boy, you got the opportunity to make more money than you expect to ever see. So you sign up and you get turned into cannon fodder. And maybe you get to do some killing before you get killed. But, lifespans are short. And for what? What are you fighting for? You're fighting for a lie. Which, again, why were we in Iraq? Why were we in Afghanistan? Why were people getting deployed for decades to those parts of the world? It wasn't because of weapons of mass destruction. Right? It was a lie. Many wars are based on lies. I'm trying to think of like a just war. There aren't many. The Civil War in America was sort of just because, one of the motivating factors was slavery. And it was a fight to either abolish or keep slavery. And that's good. Getting rid of slavery is a good thing. I'm very much pro abolishing slavery. But that wasn't the only reason the war was fought. Anyway, I know I'm rambling about war here. But that is kind of the point of the song. And at the end of the day, the people who are making money off the war, the arms dealers, the military contractors, the the people who are making uniforms, they're not getting hurt. They're fine. They're sitting at home, right? They're not out there on the front lines, or even behind the front lines. They're not out there on the battlefield. They're sitting at home, letting you die for their profit. And not just die, but kill. I'm pretty staunchly opposed to that. I'm not explicitly anti-violent. I think there is a place for violence. Sometimes violence is the only solution. People often bring things back to Germany in 1941 or whatever, but the reality is the British in the 30s had tried the non-military approach, right? They made concessions. It was called appeasement, and the people who are responsible for it have been vilified in history, as they should be, because when you are dealing with a group of fascists, the language they speak is violence. They don't speak, obviously they speak English or German or French or Spanish or Italian or whatever it is, but what they understand is violence, because that's the language that they use. to impose their will. And they don't care about the truth. They don't care about facts. They care about power. And so you can't beat them with truth and logic and facts. It's been tried. It doesn't work. In cases like that, there are reasons to go to war. We just tend to not do them for those reasons. I really like OTEP. I don't like everything. You know, I'm a picky music listener. As much sort of a broad landscape of music as I listen to, I am pretty picky. But I really do enjoy OTEP's more militant, protest. Really, this is a protest song. And I like a good protest song. I think that's it. I think that'll do it. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. Stay safe out there. Drink lots of water. And don't talk to cops.